Hi, I'm Sean McVeigh with Sean's Outdoor Adventures, and I want to welcome you to this episode of How to Hunt Whitetail Deer. This particular episode is going to be involving me hunting a farm, and it's going to give you ideas on how to scout in a short amount of time, pick a good hunting spot, and a few tips to help keep them deer right in close range for you to get a shot. So this property is well over an hour away from my house. And when I got there, the farmer was supposed to meet me. I found the farmer and he immediately began to show me the property boundaries and even a tree stand that somebody had left up who hunts the farm. As I continued to walk around the farm, a train came right through the middle of the property. And in fact, there's a little area where the train went through that the farmer said the deer do like to hang out around. Well, I took a note at the time of day that the train went through, and I was contemplating on how much of an impact that train is going to have on deer movement. Now, a lot of times that I have hunted near train tracks, the deer do spook when the trains come. And so I decided to formulate a game plan that was going to put me in an area to hunt nowhere near the train tracks, because I didn't want that to spoil my hunt. I also had to keep in mind that where the other hunter would be. And as soon as I finished making these observations, I looked down at the ground and I saw a lot of newer and older gun shells on the ground, shotgun shells. To me, I imagine it was probably dove hunters or something like that, because there were shells everywhere and it was right on the edge of an open field, a good area for people to dove hunt. So now I had to consider this area of the farm could also have dove hunters banging away at the doves. So I had to find a spot that was away from the other hunter or the other tree stand, away from the train tracks, and away from these gun shells. And the reason I'm pointing this out is a lot of times people go out and they just look for deer sign. But for me, and I'm used to hunting a lot of pressured areas, I have to analyze human activity and figure out what kind of pressure will the deer feel from other humans. So I looked at the aerial photo, and I usually carry around a GPS, a handheld GPS with topo maps, or even use my phone, Google Maps on my phone, and look at the aerial photos. And I picked an area that was the most tucked away from these spots in the back corner of the farm. And I went and checked it out, and I found a really beat deer trail coming down from the crop fields. Now, there was two major problems with the spot. One, it's early in the season and the foliage is still up. In fact, this is in the special regulation that opens early for antlerless only, a lot of the leaves are still green. So it's hard to see through the trees, and secondly, there's no leaves on the ground yet, so I can't hardly see the deer coming and I can't hear them coming. There was a bit of a blown down tree along the trail, which could get the deer to pause as they step over. But this gave me an idea. I'm going to intensify this little obstacle. So I got a bunch of dead branches from around on the ground, I gathered them up and I piled them up right on top of that little blown down tree. The way I did this, the deer either have to walk around it, which would put them closer to the tree that I was planning to get in, or they were going to stop before stepping over it. Either way, it was going to slow them down and give me a chance to take a shot. So I went back a week later, got up in the stand, and an hour and a half went by, didn't see anything, didn't really hear anything. And then I looked over, and fortunately there was two deer walking my way in an area where I could just get a glimpse of them coming, which gave me enough time to get up and get ready. Here's how it went down.
Well, that worked out really well. I made that little barrier there. The doe came up to it and she definitely was surprised. She probably hasn't been down here maybe since I even made that. I made that a week ago. And she was stopped a little farther back than where I wanted, but she was acting a little bit nervous. I could get a clear shot at where she was standing, so I went ahead and took it. And I saw her head back up the trail. She looked pretty hurt. I'm imagining I got a good hit on her, so I'll give her about a half hour and then I'll go down and see if I can find her. So the arrow looks pretty good. We'll hope for the best. Made it to about 45 yards, maybe 50 yards down the blood trail, and I saw this tree kind of like pushed over like this. I'm thinking, man, she can't be too much farther. And then I noticed she's down kind of in a little ditch behind us, so let me try to get her out where we can see her. Nice shot right behind the shoulder. But folks, this is exactly why we do what we do. This crop field behind me, this is the livelihood of this farmer. And in this program, we help lower the deer numbers so that the farmer can sustain his or her living.
Before I close this video, I just want to give you one more camera angle of the time of the shot. And the reason I want to show you this is I want to show you how long I was at full draw before I took this shot. When I saw the deer coming, I stood, got ready, turned the camera on. I analyzed the situation. I could tell the deer was moving at a good pace, so it probably wasn't going to stop until it got to the area where I made the barrier. So I drew back and gave myself plenty of time to get my bow leveled out using the level in the bottom of my sight and get my peep sight and my sight window aligned with each other so that I knew I was going to make a very accurate shot. If you're ever in a situation where you can give yourself a little time to get ready and you can tell by the way the deer are acting that they're not going to stop way before they get to you, this is something you may want to consider incorporating for your shot to help you make a good clean shot. Folks, I want to thank you for tuning into this episode. I hope you found it helpful, and I hope you'll stay tuned for future episodes of How to Hunt Whitetail Deer. Until next time, take care and God bless.